Hello, I'm Jerry Ford. I'm going to read a story out of this book here called The Scary States of America, 50 Weird and Terrifying Stories, one from each state based on true events by Michael Teitelbaum. All right, so the state I'm going to read this time is Vermont. And the story is called, touchy subject, The Endless Suicide. Many of the hauntings I've encountered involve ghosts that are somehow tied to a particular house or place. Sometimes the location and the haunting have to do with events in the ghost's mortal life. More often, they have to do with how that mortal life ended. Caroline Carlson of South Burlington, Vermont, sent me this account of her own haunted house. Hi, Jason. I've been reading true stories of the paranormal for years, but now I have something to write in about myself. My husband, Randy, and I had finally bought our dream house in South Burlington, Vermont. Little did we know at the time that our dream would turn into a total nightmare. Our first few weeks were filled with unpacking, painting, and making plans to decorate the place with new furniture. Everything seemed perfect. That is, until Randy headed out to the hardware store one Saturday afternoon about a month after we moved in, leaving me alone in the house. Now, I have to admit that I have always believed that I had some psychic abilities. I swear that my dead grandmother has communicated with me at times of stress in my life. I have had premonitions about future events, both good and bad, that have come to pass. My husband liked to tease me about it until the time I dreamed that his brother was flying on wings high above the earth, when suddenly the wings burst into flame. I woke up in a cold sweat and told Randy about my dream. He shrugged it off, but the next morning, the phone rang with the news that Randy's brother had been killed in a plane crash. Man, that's sad. On that Saturday afternoon, I was painting an upstairs bedroom when I heard footsteps. "Randy, is that you?" I called out. "Are you back already?" The footsteps grew louder. They were pounding up the stairs. I put down my paintbrush and looked over at the door to the bedroom. A tall man with gray hair, dressed in a bathrobe, ran into the room with a wild expression in his eyes. "Who are you?" I screamed. "What do you want?" The man did not respond as he raced right in front of me, heading for a wide open window on the far side of the room. Without hesitation, the man dived out the third-story window. "Oh my God!" I cried. Racing to the window, I stuck my head out, fully expecting to see the strange man splattered all over the sidewalk below. I saw nothing, no sign of the man. It was as if he had leaped out the window and vanished. When Randy returned home, I filled him in on my strange experience. I locked the door when I left and just unlocked it when I came home, Randy explained. I don't know how someone could have gotten in. And where did his body go? I asked, more than a little spooked. I stuck my head out the window again, but there was absolutely no sign of a body. Was our house haunted? I pushed the possibility out of my mind and did my best to forget the bizarre incident until it happened again. The following weekend, I once again found myself alone in the bedroom, touching up the walls. Randy had to run out to pick up some more paint. "You okay here alone?" he asked me before he left. "Hey, if this is going to start to feel like a home, I've got to be able to be here by myself," I replied. "But thanks, sweetheart. Just be sure to lock up on your way out." Like that helped the last time. As I painted, my thoughts drifted to what the bedroom would look like when it was done. I was just picturing different placements for the bed when I heard it again. The pounding of footsteps running up the stairs froze me in terror. Not again, I thought, but yes, the sound was unmistakable. The gray-haired man in the bathrobe excuse me, dashed into the room just as he'd done before. "Wait!" I shouted. Before I even registered what I was doing, I stepped directly into the man's path. "I can help you." Maybe it was because I was right in his way, or perhaps it was my own psychic abilities, but it seemed as if the running man had heard my words. As he reached me, I felt the man's spirit blend with my own. I shrieked as his tortured mind melded with mine. I felt the excruciating pain of a mind intent on death. Trapped, no way out. A lifetime of hurt, abuse, disappointment, and rage flooded my brain, overwhelming my consciousness. And then I felt my body move. Caught up in the running man's spirit, I fought helplessly as he dragged me along with him to the open window, to the suicidal plunge that was certain to follow, to death on the pavement below. "No!" I bellowed. "Let me go!" But I was powerless. In my mind, I was watching the man leap out the window as he had done the previous week. Only this time I felt myself carried along in his mad leap. As my body cleared the window frame, my hands shot out, grabbing for something, anything to stop my fall. I caught the edge of the windowsill and gripped its wooden frame with all my strength. I stopped falling. My legs slammed against the side of the house, just below the window, and then the man was gone. I felt his anguish and despair leave me, only to be replaced by my own panic as I dangled helplessly 3 stories above the ground. "Help!" I cried. "Somebody help me!" A few passers-by gathered below. "Hang on!" one of them shouted. "Don't let go!" yelled another as he dialed 911 on his phone. I knew that the door was locked. No one could get into the house to help pull me back in. No one except Randy. Randy told me later that he saw the crowd gathering in front of our house from 2 blocks away. Everyone was pointing up. When he got close enough to see what was happening, he dropped the paint cans he was carrying and broke into an all-out sprint. My fingers ached as I maintained my grip on the windowsill. Then they began to cramp and grow weaker. "I'm gonna fall," I thought, as my left hand slipped free. "Randy!" I cried, dangling by one hand. "Randy!" I repeated weakly as my right hand cramped and I slipped from the sill. "Gotcha!" Randy cried out, grabbing my wrist just as I slid free. "Give me your other hand." I reached up and Randy took me by both wrists, pulling me back into the room. We collapsed together onto the floor. "Are you okay?" he asked, panting, trying to catch his breath. "What happened?" I filled Randy in on the details of my second encounter with the suicidal spirit, just as the wail of police sirens filled the air. I reassured the police that everything was all right, telling them that I had slipped while cleaning the window. Then I called the real estate broker who had sold us the house. His records indicated that the man who first owned the house 50 years ago had indeed committed suicide by jumping out the 3rd floor window after his wife had left him. Not surprisingly, our agent had neglected to volunteer this lovely fact when showing the house. I have to say that we were never troubled by the desperate spirit again. I believe that my psychic close encounter with the man in his pain may have freed his soul from its misery and from the house that Randy and I now call home. Interesting. So there you go. Vermont. If you like these kind of books, you're into the paranormal, you collect paranormal books and other paraphernalia, you might enjoy this one. So get you a copy of it. I thank you for watching. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.